Hi everyone, good evening, namaste, this is Ekta. I just wanted to check if I am audible, if I'm visible, I'm clear. Let me just check if I get, okay, great. So I have a confirmation that I'm audible and visible and clear. Thank you. So, good evening, Ekta. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ekta, and I welcome to another session by Team Mental Strength Professional. I'm director of Dr. Paras Wellness. So, to begin with, I would like to say something about us. Who are we, and what do we do? So, we are a team of coaches. We are a team of psychologists, hypnotherapists, counselors, NLP practitioners, mindfulness practitioners, Reiki healers, and we aim at building mental toughness in people. Since July, one of our professionals, we go live each week, and we share some insights about various topics, and we try to share insights. We do our own research, and from based on whatever research, we try and present it in front of you guys. And we've received amazing feedback. So thanks for connecting with us each week, and giving us your valuable inputs each time. Thank you so much. So last session, I spoke about the 3 C's for community building, because community building is a need of the hour. So I spoke about the 3 C's, that is care, compassion, and communication. And that's where I highlighted the new normal as we are moving towards the phase of Unlock 5.0. So without wasting any more time, I am going to move on to our today's discussion. And this time I have none other than Coach Shalaka with me. So let me just get her in. Give me just 2 seconds. And there you go. Hi Shalaka, namaste, welcome. Shalaka, I guess you're on mute. We cannot hear you.
Yeah, I was on mute.
Yes.
So
Namaste.
namaste everyone.
So we have Dr. Paras saying hi. We have Kalpana Joshi saying hi and all the best to you. And then Nilesh, hi Nilesh, good evening. We also have Janviji saying hi.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for your wishes.
All right. So in a joint series of emotional harmony of joyful pregnancy, Shalaka tried her best, did her research, and through MSP we addressed issues related to women and their emotional health. And at the same time, when we were highlighting these, we also realized that there is a parallel journey of would-be fathers. So today's session is exclusively dedicated to the expecting fathers. Now, I love this concept. I love this idea because it is not always about pregnant mothers, but it's also about expecting fathers. Shalaka, from her personal experience, she highlighted that men also need attention. As this is an equally a new phase for them. So yes, we need to understand their mindset, their journey, what do they undergo. So I'm really glad that Shalaka has weaved this amazing full session, that is journey of expecting fathers, and we really need to understand their frame of mind. So let's hear it from the lady. So over to you, Shalaka, and the floor is all yours. And I'm really, really looking forward to hear your inputs. So over to you, Shalaka.
Thanks, Ekta. So hello everyone. I'm Shalaka Tambe, and I'm a mental strength professional with Matrix. And as Ekta just mentioned, we are here today with a topic exclusively for the expecting fathers, because I genuinely feel that this is a space which needs more dialogue, more attention, and some more new awareness that we can build around it. So this is what the session is about today, journey of expecting fathers. I'm going to talk about how you can, how the expecting fathers can prepare themselves in various ways in their personal capacity, on their personal front, in their personal journey, also how they can work around the structural changes that might come along the way. So there are a lot of things that we are going to discuss which might benefit your journey. Uh, Before that, I would quickly, highlight some of the important points that we covered in our earlier sessions. Now, as Ekta mentioned, my earlier sessions were around building emotional harmony for joyful pregnancy. And this series was focusing on the emotional and mental well being of the would be mothers and how they can, through a proactive and structured approach, work on their overall well being. And for that, I had given them a framework of four areas or four steps, you might say. And those elements were building your emotional knowledge, raising your emotional awareness, sorry, then working on your mental strength, and then integrating mindfulness in your pregnancy journey. So these were the four elements which we covered in our earlier sessions. And now today's topic that we are going to take up is about how the expecting fathers can also prepare themselves better uh, for the journey of these 9 months as well as for the life with a baby. Because I believe it's a space, as I've said, which needs equal attention. It needs much more dialogue and some more awareness around it. Now, uh, see, the fundamental thing which I really feel about this topic is when we say expecting fathers. To start with, I would then like to ask a question to the audience, especially the expecting couples out there. So maybe if we can start with a question that I want to put out for all of you. And the question is, when I say the word expecting fathers, or when I say the phrase journey of expecting fathers, what thought comes to your mind, or what emotion really surfaces within you? So if we could address that, if you could take a minute and think about it, you can write your thoughts and comments in the chat box, and we would refer to it as we go along. So this is the question with which I would like to start today's session. So I will again repeat the question for everyone. When I say the phrase the journey of expecting fathers, what is the one thought, one emotion that comes to you? So I would request you to share your views around this with us. And Ekta, if we can just put that question on the screen, is that possible? Hello?
I'm just trying to do that. Just give me 1 moment.
Okay, sure, sure.
Is that
I'll be-
okay?
Yeah, perfect. So that the audience can refer to the question as we go along.
I'll be adding the same on the chat box as well.
Yeah, that would help. Thanks, Ekta, for doing that. Yeah. So then how can expecting fathers prepare for this journey of 9 months? And not just the journey of 9 months, but how can they prepare themselves better for the arrival of the baby? Now, culturally and conventionally, we talk more about the preparation of the mothers, the would be mothers. There is a lot of talk around it. We pay a lot of attention to that space. And the would-be father's space is equally important, as I said, because if you see, both of them are in this journey together. And at a very fundamental level, it is actually the balance of the masculine and feminine which has created the life itself. So when there is an equal partnership in creating this wonderful life, it is equally important to address both the spaces. So this is the fundamental thing which we need to realize and pay equal attention to both these aspects. And parenthood, is a process where you need a lot of skills which we need to develop for ourselves. And these 9 months of pregnancy can actually give you an opportunity to prepare yourself and deal with all the challenges and new changes with much more ease. Now, we often also think that the father's role begins after the birth of the child. Now, the thoughts around this are changing. There is a very beautiful shift that is happening these days, that the expecting fathers are getting much more involved in the process of pregnancy from the mother's perspective. They have become more supportive. They are getting involved in the process, be it getting to the appointments together, taking the prenatal classes together. So there is a lot of change that is happening around this space as to expecting fathers getting involved in the process. Now, this still is from the perspective of a would-be mother, that how can the expecting father support more? Now, equally, there is another space which needs attention, and that is how can the fathers themselves prepare better for this, their own space, their own care, their own preparation, and in what ways they can do it. And is there really a structured approach which we can think of? So this is really a space which I would really like to address, and I'm sure a lot of would-be fathers would, look forward to such a structured conversation, because we need a structured dialogue around this. Now, when I say it is important because they are going through this life-changing event, they are going through this life-changing transition for themselves as well. And with the added, sense of responsibility, added sense of pressure, they're dealing with all these new changes and new space. So this is the basic reason why I think it is important to address this very, very vulnerable space. And why I'm calling this a vulnerable space, we will address this going ahead. Now, before I move on into, exploring the structure as to what can the expecting fathers do, let me just maybe take a pause and see if we have any answers to the question that I just posed in front of everyone. Ekta, do we have any comments or any views which we need to address?
So we have Nilesh who mentioned, I felt very joyful, happy, and matured.
Wow, that's really not just one emotion, but you are sharing your deepest emotions that you experience. That's really wonderful.
Thanks for sharing, Nilesh. It's really, really nice. And we have Pooja who has said hi to you, Shalaka.
Hi, Pooja. Good to have you.
Hi, Pooja. Shalaka, I loved what you said. Something that just stayed with me right now as you were saying that, balance of masculine and feminine energy that has created this new life. I just love that particular, very powerful statement that you just made. Thank you so much. Absolutely, that's how, parenthood is all. That's what parenthood is all about. They both are in the journey.
Correct.
And it is very important for fathers to prepare themselves for this journey too. We had shared a banner a few days ago, like every man transitions from being a dude to a dad.
Yeah,
So
true.
I was, when I was going through that thought, it is so important. It's a beautiful transition. Some take it very, easily in a very, with a what we say, they're in Josh, but some also take time to transition. So it varies from person to person.
Absolutely, it varies from person to person, and everyone is there in it in their own way because it's their own journey. So every experience is also unique in its way. So that's true. And what you said is very interesting, due to that. So on a lighter note, I like that how you put it.
I guess you are visualizing something right now.
Sorry?
Looking at your smile. Are you visualizing something right now?
Not visualizing, but I really felt nice. It's a nice way to put it in a lighter way. So thanks for doing that.
True. So, we need to create a space of understanding their side, their emotions, the expecting fathers, their insecurities. And most important, I could say, is how can others be mindful about not pressurizing them much?
Absolutely.
The environmental support is also very important. How the family members can support them is also needed to be, taken care. So I really look forward to, listening to you more and understanding more from you. I'm sure it's going to be something really, really exciting. So I'm looking forward. Let's go ahead, Shalaka.
Sure.
Over to you.
Yeah. So, getting now ahead in our discussion, as I said earlier, I had shared a four-step structure for the would-be mothers. So, I thought it is equally fair for the expecting fathers that I share a similar structure from their perspective, and a similar four-step structure that you can follow for proactively working on this space and getting ready for this journey ahead. So I'll just quickly share the four steps that I'm going to talk about. Uh, the four areas on which the expecting fathers could work are mental preparation, their mental preparation, how are they going to prepare mentally for it, then their emotional preparation, then structural preparation. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll touch upon it when we go to that element. And then preparing for the changes in work-life equation. Now, the first two areas are about your own personal preparation in your personal space, in your personal capacity. And the next two areas are more to do with you as a couple. Um, as Ekta just said, you as a whole unit, the changes in the environment, and a lot of the things that structurally need to be addressed. So, this is how we are going to address these four areas. So, to start with, we will talk about the mental preparation. Now, when it comes to the pregnancy and when it comes to getting to know that you are expecting, then one natural thing happens is men tend to often think about the responsibilities much more. So they get into that zone, into that mental construct of finding themselves in a more responsible space. Maybe they could feel added pressure to this. So the way they enter into it, apart of course they have their happiness, their joy, but predominantly the instinct is of much more responsibility. And so they often mix have a mixed emotional experience because of this. And they could experience anxiety, they could experience worries, they could experience fear in some cases. So often their experiences mixed with all these emotions as well. And if you see, usually what we observe is men uh, feel much more at ease when they feel they are in control of situations. It's their obvious natural instinct. It's a masculine element, you can say, how it manifests, that they feel much more in control, then they feel much more at ease. But pregnancy is one such event in life where they are absolutely not in control with respect to what is happening with their partner, what is happening with the would be mother, be it her physical changes, be it her emotional changes, her own emotional journey. So this really, puts them in a vulnerable space where they are not in their natural element because they don't feel in control of situation. And that's where their anxieties get triggered. That's where their fears might get triggered. And this impacts their natural way of functioning. So, how to then handle this? I mean, we can deep dive into each of the area which I just shared. But for today's session, I would like to, share some tips which could, help address this area. How to prepare mentally for this journey ahead. Now, one by one, I will share some 3-4 tips with you, which could be helpful for you. Now, I would start with the obvious one. Um, Remembering that you're not in this alone, or you're not the only one who is going through such feelings or having such thoughts. Feelings part we will address in the emotional preparation, but right now, when you're having these thoughts, sometimes you might get overwhelmed, sometimes you might get worried, have anxious thoughts. You're not the only person who is going through such an experience. So at such points, having worries and anxieties is okay. It's normal, it's natural. Best and the first step towards addressing this mental space is talking it out with your partner, discussing it. And I know these days a lot of couples have these conscious conversations. So it's a good step towards addressing all these areas, talking it out with your partner, discussing it. I would rather say discussing it with your partner. But when it comes to talking it out, uh, men actually have a different way of talking about their thoughts. And the way they connect, or the way they express from what's going on in their mind is different from how women talk about it. So during this phase, it would be even much more beneficial if men could connect with men who are going through a similar experience, similar expecting fathers, or who have recently gone through this journey, or in their close circle, if they have anyone who can, with whom they can talk about these, all the thoughts and how they managed, how they dealt with it. So apart from discussing with your partner, uh, I would highly recommend, connecting with someone who has been already in this journey or has gone through this journey, because then it would give you a different, perspective. And more than that, when two men talk about these things, it's much more easier for them to express, because they know how they. It's similarly like two women talking about, their experience. They instantly connect. So when talking about the thoughts and the, all these aspects, it's better if you connect with a expecting father or someone who has gone through this journey. So I would definitely recommend that. Now, this could be a starting point. If you want to go much more deeper, what can help you is integrating some mindful habits into your routine. Now, what do I mean by mindful habits? One of the things which can help you is proactively integrating some sort of meditation routine in your daily agenda. And why am I saying this? Um, because you have different worries, you have different thoughts, you have a lot of responsibilities going on, you have a lot of things going on for yourself in this space. You are trying to juggle with your work, you are trying to juggle with the home front. Lot of things are going on in your space, and you're constantly consumed with the thoughts which you sometimes may find it overwhelming. So it's important to create a space for yourself during the day, where you can just regroup, recollect yourself, and refocus your thoughts into the today, into the present moments. Because I also shared this point with the would-be mothers in my earlier session, that mindfulness and integrating some mindful practices is absolutely important, because your pregnancy and this experience is happening now. So whatever your worries and whatever your thoughts are about the future, you can train your mind to put them in the future and you staying in the present, because that is very important, because otherwise this thought chain can really drain you. So integrate any kind of mindfulness or any kind of meditation in your routine. It could be any type of thing which calms you and gives you your own space, and proactively working on it. Actually, pregnancy could be a very good period where you can start making self care for yourself also your one of your priorities, and taking care of your thoughts. So think of integrating some or the other meditation practice in your daily routine. That would definitely help you to stay grounded and address this space with much more ease. Now, uh, what happens when you're mindful? As I said, it keeps the worries of the future in future, and you are able to focus in the present. Now, with mindfulness, I'm not saying that the anxieties will go away, the worries will go away. There are real anxieties, there are real situations which you need to handle, which you need to take care of, and real surprise things that might come up during 9 months. So these all things are real. But what will this practice of integrating mindful habit will do to you is help you navigate through this with much more calm, with much more peace, and you will not get overwhelmed and overexhausted because of these thoughts. So that is why it is essential to consider this as one of your routines. And as I said, mental preparation is the first step for the expecting fathers. First, you have to mentally be in a sound state, and then you can focus on your emotional preparation, which now we are going to talk about in our second element. How can you prepare yourself emotionally? Now, emotional preparation for men is equally important as for the would be mothers. But at the same time, emotional preparation for men is very different from emotional preparation for the women. And we will explore how it is different and why it needs to be addressed differently as well. Now, just give me a minute. How would I like to start this topic? You see, culturally, all across the globe, men are conditioned to hide their emotions, and it's true across the globe. So they are not really comfortable expressing themselves. They find it a bit difficult to express in front of people and talk it out. So this is the usual conditioning of of men around the globe. Now, but I genuinely also believe that this period of 9 months is a wonderful opportunity, both for the expecting mothers and expecting fathers, to rediscover themselves, recondition their minds, rethink about the beliefs that they have about emotional space, and work upon becoming a better version of yourself, integrating some beliefs that you truly believe in, and as I said, restructuring, reconditioning your thoughts and feelings. So this is a wonderful space of 9 months where you can, along with the baby, even you can work on yourself and be a better version of you. So if you think of this place from that angle, from that lens, I think you will be already ready for your emotional preparation. With this thought and with this intent, you would be halfway ready for your emotional preparation. Now, there are again some tips I would like to share, or some insights, I would say, not tips, some insights about emotional awareness, how you can build it. Now, I would start with, again, the obvious one. The first step is building your emotional knowledge. And what you can do is you might start reading about the 9 months. You can start reading along with your partner about what to expect during this period. You can start reading about the life after baby. Now, this is the first obvious step, and it's really heartening to see these days that couples are doing this together. They are having wonderful conversations. They are involved in this process together, and men are really putting a lot of efforts into being there, for their partner. So this emotional knowledge part is slowly, being getting integrated into their journey. So this is the first step. How can you work on your emotional knowledge? Read as much as you can. Make yourself, make a habit of having a common reading session with your wife or so. So this could really help. Now, going beyond that, in in our cultural context, men sometimes, as I said, are not comfortable sharing their feelings, or their vulnerable moments, because ultimately, when you talk about emotional space, it is the vulnerable moments that how much you are comfortable sharing that determines your emotional preparation. So for this, you definitely need to talk with someone, and for this particular thing, I would definitely suggest talking to a woman. It could be anyone. It could be your mother, if it could be your sister, it could be your close friend, it could be anyone from your social circle with whom you are comfortable with. uh, your partner, obviously you will discuss, as you will discuss about all the other stuff that I just discussed with you in mental preparation. So apart from having a discussion with your partner, you definitely consider having a discussion with definitely any other woman in your life. Now, why am I emphasizing on this is, when it comes to emotional preparation, let me tell you, you yourself, as an expecting father, you yourself need a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion, a lot of kindness and care showered on you also. You also need that equally during this period. And I believe that this kind of a dialogue, if you have with a woman, would amplify that space for you. With the natural instinct of any woman to be, nurturing and into a caretaking mode, you will get all those nourishments for yourself in abundance. You will be taken care of. You will experience empathy. You will experience compassion. You will experience kindness through these talks, and you yourself will be then in abundance of all these emotions. And then you can actually translate these through your discussions with your partner to her, because once you have the experience and when you have all these emotions in abundance, you can shower it to her as well, because she definitely needs that from you more, and even you need it. So for that reason, go ahead and have these emotional dialogues with someone, as I just mentioned, sister, close friend, a mother, anyone who you are comfortable with, and build your own emotional, what you say, bank, I would say, where you can then shower the same to yourself and to your partner. So very important to look at this space in a conscious way, and not just and have good conscious conversations where you are more curious about how to deal with these emotions. Be more open to be vulnerable, and you would see wonders happening for yourself and then your partner. And believe me, once this emotional awareness, rises, it will definitely help in you having a beautiful bond with your partner, and also with the baby. So this part, if you really focus on consciously, it will do wonders to you, and you would be much more well prepared for this journey ahead. So, as I said, these first two were the areas for your own personal preparation, mental preparation and emotional preparation. Now, before moving on to the next two areas, maybe will take a pause here and see if we have any comments or any question which we need to address.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. So yes, Nilesh has appreciated, nicely said, do to dad. So thanks, Nilesh. Shalaka, as you were sharing, the emotional and the mental piece. So a couple of, just sharing my observation or my connection, how things are resonating with me. One of the tips that you shared, which is really doable, and it is also very easy. That is, talk about what you feel, express your authentic feelings. So that's a beautiful tip for all the expecting fathers. Connecting with someone who has gone through this journey.
Yes.
That's a beautiful tip, because I'm sure doing that, one would get much broader perspective about the situation. That's authentic, tip that you have really shared. Thank you so much. And what I also liked was the tip of practicing mindfulness for mental preparation. So yes, that is definitely the need of the hour. Practicing mindfulness will not only help the mothers but also the fathers. I also appreciate, Shalaka, how you addressed, because this was a tough one. The difference between emotional preparation for both men and women. How you brought it from the cultural lenses. So kudos to you. I mean, that's a wonderful research. That's the need of the hour. We need to give that space to men to express their vulnerable side. And women being generally the nurture and emotion, and women generally the nurture and emotional quotient is high. So the tip that you spoke about, connect with some other women, like being your mother, or be it your some relative or your best friend. That's, I would say, that's an honest share from your end. I'm sure your research, your own experiences. So it's a beautiful tip. So these 2, 3 tips, I would say, are easily doable, and someone can really remember this, and maybe can even tell this to some other person who may need these tips. So yes, a quick one, Shalaka. Here's a question on our MSP Messenger. Can I share that with you? Okay. So
Yeah.
this question is, the father here has mentioned not to take his name. So let's call him Mr. Anonymous. And Mr. Anonymous is right now listening to us. Okay. So he will definitely reply on the messenger, and I'll get back to you once he replies. So his question is, do men also experience any emotional symptoms during these 9 months? Do you want me to put this question on the screen, Shalaka?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, so that even you would get an idea, because I'm reading this out for the first time. Just give me one moment. Okay, here it goes.
Okay. Do men also experience any emotional symptoms during these time? Yeah. It's an important question, I would say. So thanks for asking this question, and I would definitely like to address it. Now, we usually think that it's only the would-be mothers that would have any symptoms, which we need to really keep an eye for and be open to understanding. But let me say that research has shown, and through my experience of my own pregnancy, definitely men also have emotional symptoms. But as I said, because they are not conditioned, or that they are not used to expressing them, there is a possibility that they might go unnoticed. I mean, you might not hear it from them. You might not, they might not talk about it, but the symptoms will be visible. Now, just to share a few with you, men also experience, as I said, anxiety. They also experience fear. But if they don't speak about it, how can one gauge, even for themselves, if they are not aware of it, that this is also one of the symptoms that I'm going through? So if you are experiencing restless, moments, if you are having anxious thoughts, if you are constantly tossing, turning in your bed at night, or you are finding it difficult to fall asleep with all the thoughts going on in your head, this could be a symptom of you really having some anxieties about this whole process. So even if you don't speak, your body and your whole system will give you signals. So these are the symptoms which can be looked into. And if you go through these symptoms often, it's definitely advisable to connect with your family, to share it, to express it out, and look at it in a more constructive way. What can you do about it? Similarly, there are some other symptoms which you can look at if you are experiencing some body aches, if there are any pains that you experience and you are not realizing for what it is. Now, why it could be happening is because of the constant pressure that you are carrying mentally. Of I'm the more responsible. I have to be the more responsible one. I have to carry all the pressure during this time, and all this can cause a mental fatigue, and then this fatigue then manifests as all these pains which you are not sure why your body could be aching. So definitely there are physical and emotional symptoms which even men experience, but because, as I said, uh, they're not used to sharing it, so even they might not understand that they're going through something like this. And it's important to build this awareness, because even they can take care of themselves in much more better way then. So yes, to answer your question, men have symptoms as women have, and that is exactly the reason why you should raise your own emotional awareness and be open to challenging those beliefs, old beliefs, and then working on yourself and be more open to your emotional experience. So I hope I could answer your question. So
It's just not about answering question. You did it justice there. So thank you so much for sharing that.
okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Anonymous, I hope Shalaka has answered. And if you further have queries, we can definitely connect on the messenger. So let's move ahead, Shalaka. So far, I believe we covered emotional and mental structure.
Preparation. Yeah, yeah.
Let's move on to the next two. I am looking forward. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ekta. As I said, the first two elements were about your own personal preparation, getting ready mentally and emotionally. Now, the next two elements that I'm going to talk about are more to do with the structure and environment. And the first, element is structural preparation. Now, to share from my own experience, if there was one thing that I wish I could, go back and do much more concretely, in a structured way, it would be this: some elements of, structural preparation. So, what do I then really mean by structural preparation? Uh, Proactively and slowly, you need to make changes around certain areas and certain structures in your life. Now, what are those structures I'm talking about? The first is your everyday routines. The second one is actually your eating habits. That is also a structure that we follow. We don't realize it, but yes, it is a structure that we follow. So our routines, daily routines, our eating habits, planning for the support system, then conscious redistribution of your domestic work and your financial preparation. So I'm going to quickly take you through these pointers, what I mean to say when I say structural preparation. So when I talk about restructuring your daily routines, there is one thought which needs to be reinforced here. Is up till now it was the two of you, and up till now it was just you structuring your routine according to your priorities, according to your needs, according to your life. Now there is a third life which has already entered in the space, in this environment. So now going ahead, how can I restructure my routine around it? Now, why it is important? I will give you one simple example, which I hope many expecting fathers and many expecting mothers would connect to. If your partner is going through morning sickness, if that is one of the symptoms she is going through, then you can be sure of that your mornings are going to be very, very different from what you have experienced up till now. So you can assume that your mornings are going to go in taking care of that area where you will be physically really, not in a space where you can be more functional in your natural way. So your routine will definitely get impacted because of this. And having this knowledge will help you to then sit and restructure. Okay, I mean, if you do the first step of building your emotional knowledge, that this is something we expect during the first trimester, then this is how I'm going to deal with it, and what kind of structural changes I will make. So it could start with changing your sleeping patterns. It will start with what you really used to do during the morning times, which you will not be able to do now. How can you restructure all those tasks through the day? Because if you continue with your normal routine and deal with all these new changes, it really burns you out many times. Taking care of the domestic things in the morning time, uh, rushing to some meetings in the morning, having to deal with all that goes on in the morning rush. So if you are much more aware and if you work on your structuring your routine, it will help you not get exhausted. So this is just one example. And every trimester brings with it new patterns. Every week, sometimes, changes as per the changes that the mother goes through. So being aware of it and making conscious efforts to structure your routines around it, it will definitely help you not get exhausted. Then eating habits. Why am I talking all of a sudden about eating habits in this structural changes? For very simple reason, actually. Uh, Now I'm talking about the preparation of both the mother and father, as I said, your whole environment, your whole system. So in your emotional preparation also, your food plays a very important role. And up till now, we have our set pattern and structure even to our eating habits. And now going ahead, it could help you immensely if you could sit together down and have proactively discuss about how can I integrate a healthy and mindful eating through these 9 months. Because whatever you consume, it not only impacts you physically, but it also has an impact on your emotional and mental state. And this is the period where you have to be much more careful about all these aspects. Because just to give you an example of that morning sickness itself, your sleep gets impacted, your day gets impacted. So uh, if you consciously think of what I'm taking, what is my intake, so it could be something which will keep you calm, things which could nourish you at the same time, and not really be a hurdle in experiencing a better sense of calm. So what food habits do we really need to think of, and what new approach do we really need to have? So this is one of the important areas which you can sit and discuss, and as per your lifestyle, as per your liking, what changes can you do in this area? Very important to address. Planning for support systems. Now, we all have a support system at home in different forms, either family or we get help from outside. So our support systems are there at home. Uh, what I really want to quickly share with you is work on your support system at three fronts. Your support system at family level, your support system at a social level, your friends, where you can, as I said, go and talk to them, have good conversations with them, learn from their experience. And your third support system is at your workplace, equally important, because the more you integrate these support systems in your structure, it would be much more easier for you to write this out, because you are dealing with your domestic front, your professional front. But if you develop good support systems in all these areas, and how can I do that? Everyone's life situation is different, everyone's needs are different. So think of the support system from these three lenses: support system at home, at family front, support system at a social level, and support system at your work front. Sit together, discuss about this. What can I do to get the best from people around me, and have your own plan for it, and have a proactive dialogue about it. Um, Not don't be in a reactive mode, because then you will be, as I said, exhausted, running around things, managing things which are popping up. So structurally and proactively work around your support system. Then conscious redistribution of domestic work, and I'm glad these days this is happening beautifully with lot of couples where the expecting fathers are also getting involved in this process, as I said, and they are working together side by side on this. So a lot of good things are happening in this area, and for this the couple has to sit together based on their own equation, based on their own comfort. You need to have this plan in place. And I'm sure couples can find this one of these things quite doable, and as I said, proactively doing it, not addressing it as it pops up, but proactively talking about it with each other. Now, now I'm going to talk about the financial preparation, but before that, these the four things which I just shared: everyday routine, restructuring it, restructuring your eating habits, planning for the support system, conscious redistribution. What can help the expecting fathers to get into this mode and in this zone easily? What can help this transition? Now, surprisingly, what can help is the more you are involved in the process of the expecting mother, the more you are involved in the regular appointments with the doctor, the more aware you are of what is happening right now, what are we supposed to expect in coming weeks. It automatically puts your mind in the frame where you are already looking at what's coming to me. And when you do that consciously, then you are much better placed to then proactively think about all these things. So this could really help address all these areas. Now the last area is financial preparation. Now I'm emphasizing on this because both the expecting mother and father would help if they sit together and plan this in advance. Some pointers are, you need to take care of the health insurance part. You need to take care of pre-delivery budgeting, post-delivery budgeting. You have to also take care of the emergency funds. You need to plan for the expenses for the baby. So there are lot of heads under below which you need to plan your resources, your financial resources especially. So it is, and these days a wonderful advice and very professional advice is available out there. You can reach out to professionals. You can reach out to the websites which can provide you with this information, and have a really structured approach for preparing yourself financially, because this itself takes a lot of burden off the expecting father's shoulders. And if you address this proactively and you plan your finances in advance, it puts you in a much more comfortable space. So this is the area which needs to be taken care of, and one of the important elements of structural preparations. So, if you ask me, the expecting couples working on their everyday routines, restructuring of that, are all these things in their personal space, and then redistributing their domestic work, or it could be financial preparation and the support systems, mainly the three elements of support systems. This is really crucial for me: financial preparation and preparing your support systems. So this was all about the structural preparation. Now, preparing for the changing work-life equation. Now, in today's times that we are going through, we are already in a very different and unique space where we are working from home, we are at home, we are doing everything at home, and the whole equation of work life, balance is changing. It has already changed, and we are experiencing some very unique times. So, how can we address this space? Now, if it were normal circumstances, I would say the couples have to look into, their time management, their prioritization. They have to look into their rethinking their work-life equation. Now, all these elements, now from the work from home mode, how should we really think of all these things then? Now, one important aspect is looking at how much time you are spending away from the home and how much time you are spending at home. Now, currently, we are already in home. So, physically, our presence is there at homes. So, what needs is mentally, in our mental space, how much space is there for the personal, front, and how much space is consumed in our professional front. So, we have to address this area from completely your mental, your engagement at a mental level. So, how much are you consumed during this period in your work? How much are you consumed at home? Where do I need to expand my space for the personal responsibilities or the personal things that are happening. So it is all about expanding your space, expanding your time, and expanding all the resources that you have, because up till now, as I said, it was just the two of you. Now already there's a third person in the form of the baby that's growing inside the expecting mother. So you are already three now. So it's all about expanding your space, your time, and your resources. So once you think of this from these lenses, the next natural step is about time management. So this is a period where you need to really polish your skills of time management. How efficiently can I manage the time? Now this is also very personal to every couple, very personal to every expecting father. How can I manage my time better? So looking into that area, then my prioritization, what is taking up more of my time? uh, where are my priorities taking up more of my space mentally as well as emotionally? So what is it that I need to prioritize? What are the things that I need to let go of? What are the things that I need to integrate more? So all these things come under the time management and prioritization part. So uh, very very crucial to think of work life equation through these lenses, and very important for you to expand your space, expand your time, and expand your resources. So this is, I would say, about the work life equation and about all the four elements that I just shared with you, which you can work upon and be better prepared for the journey that lies ahead. And give yourself that space where you can also take care of yourself, where you can take care of yourself because you need to, and which will give you much more strength mentally and emotionally to go through this journey. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Reach out to people. uh, Reach out to people with whom you are comfortable to talk it out with respect to your thoughts, and reach out to women with whom you are comfortable to talk out your emotions. So very very important. And then of course the structural and work life equation I talked about. So yeah, for today I think this is it, Ekta, from my side.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Why are you stopping? I mean, you are giving amazing, amazing tips. There is such a beautiful flow of information. The way you have researched your topic, and the way you're presenting the experience, you beautifully weaved, these series of joyful pregnancy. And very important that you added the element of thinking about expecting fathers. When I was doing some research on this, Shalaka, trust me, I couldn't see many quotes that would relate to expecting fathers.
Yeah,
I always saw those quotes, which always, which shows that, how a father needs to be. The
exactly,
nurture.
exactly.
And for mothers, it's always the emotional nurture care. Why is that so much of pressure that is being created by the environment, by the society on men that they always need to be that powerful?
Absolutely.
Absolutely okay to be vulnerable. That's beautifully that you highlighted.
Ekta, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead, Sarah.
No. You have mentioned it absolutely beautifully and very important that there is so much of pressure even from the environment. As you mentioned through your research, you found that if you notice, even lot of articles, even lot of books that are written are from the perspective of a mother, and how what more can a expecting father do to support her. So, how can a expecting father get involved is also from the perspective of a mother. There is nothing wrong in it. It's absolutely important. But at the same time, what we are missing out is, are we exclusively talking about their journey as well, about their preparation? So it is not just about what more can they do to facilitate the mother, but what can they do to facilitate themselves, to build themselves, and to make this journey even more joyful and something to remember for themselves. So you put a very good point. Environmental pressure, it's too much.
And it's high time, we actually also address the authentic issues of men. So
Yeah,
I appreciate and I congratulate you. You really have, done your research, and the way you have gone ahead and put across all these, elements, the way you structured them. It's beautiful. It's just not emotional. It's just not mental. You also spoke about, the financial planning, how the one should structure, also the, work-life equation. A couple of pointers that you mentioned, Shalaka, if you don't mind, that stays with me. Can I go ahead and share it?
absolutely, absolutely.
What I really loved is, you mentioned about being disciplined, which is
Mm,
very important for structural preparation.
absolutely.
And the way you highlighted, mindful eating, or developing those support system,
Yeah,
where you mentioned about not only support system at home but also at workplace. And
yes,
yes, friends are the most important factor. So connecting with them. So small elements, but the way you have weaved it, I loved it. One more aspect that you integrated, which is superb, that is, financial planning. You mentioned about
very
insurance,
much.
you mentioned about budgeting. So
Yeah,
it cannot be an overnight thing. One needs to actually plan it so that
ex-
they don't get under pressure.
exactly.
Because
You're mute, Ekta.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, women when they are in their journey, men they take a lot of financial pressure at times.
exactly.
So planning this is very very important. I love that part and that
You know,
aspect.
yeah, you know why it is important for them to proactively address this along with their partners, because these are some of the areas which really put them under a lot of pressure. One is the financial aspect, one is the angle of responsibility, the added responsibility, and how I am supposed to be the one who is, more responsible, and how can I be the one who is constantly alert, because their alert mode is so much on during these times. It can really reflect into get into fatigue. It can reflect into getting overwhelmed. So and you don't need that during these 9 months. You don't need that.
So it's all about what I can understand from you is it's all about perfectly planning things.
Yeah,
If one plans things, I'm sure the burden would be much, much lesser.
exactly,
On
exactly.
both mother and father, because they both would be able to enjoy it then.
Exactly. As I said, doing these things is not about, it doesn't mean that difficult days won't be there or anxieties won't be there, they would be gone. No. But knowing that it is going to be there, how are you going to address it then? And how can you prepare yourself so that this journey would be much more calmer for you? So it's not about making the issues go, it is about dealing with them in much better mental and emotional space.
True. You know, uh, I'm just going to take a few minutes if you don't mind, Shalaka. Because these pointers, what you mentioned, they are real tips and they are real important for anyone and everyone who wants to undergo this journey or is undergoing right now. And the
True.
other aspect that you added was managing time and prioritizing things.
Absolutely.
Uh, Beautiful. So, so
Quickly,
what?
just one thing. This is where, building your support system at work and building your support system at home is going to be crucial. Your support system at a social level will, enable you to connect with people in your mental and emotional space. But your systems at home and work will help you in your time management and prioritization. So very crucial.
True. For me, it's always, whatever you have shared, that is really, really important. But a quick one is very important is have a heart-to-heart conversation with your partner.
Lovely. You put it beautifully. True.
So, Shalaka, I was listening to whatever you mentioned, and I just thought of, coming up with my own version of some conclusion. Can I share it with you?
Absolutely. I look forward.
So, what I feel is, men, they actually have tremendous pressure, with respect to showing that all is well. But
Exactly.
internally, what I feel is they have their own anxieties, they have their worries to manage the equation and responsibility of the newborn as well as the mother.
True.
And on the other end, what I also feel is they themselves they find it very difficult to articulate their fears.
Absolutely.
So here, it's an humble and honest request from Team MSP. So we at MSP will request all the men to openly communicate their fears, their
Yes.
worries, and deal with the space of fatherhood in a much, much enhanced manner. You
Absolutely.
could reach out, like Shalaka mentioned about your emotional space. Reach out to a woman so that you could get much, much nurtured way of connection there or something on mental space. Why don't you connect with a friend, a confidant, or some person who has undergone that kind of journey earlier, so that could help one to have a broader perspective. So I would say, Shalaka, I love the way you invited this thought-provoking space for expecting fathers, men, their emotional, psychological space. It needs attention to it. And
Absolutely.
how
Needs
how they channelize and and they cope up with their existing issues that
absolutely.
need to be understood by the society, by the environment, by the expecting mothers. A lot of people out there.
Absolutely. As I
So
said, we can deep dive into all these areas, and there is so much more that can be done in this space for building awareness, not for just for the men, as you rightly said. How can we raise the awareness of the overall system around this area? So yes, and I think it could be a good start to start having these dialogues.
see, more important, I mean, the most important factor is Shalaka, you actually took a leap of faith and decided to come up with this series. That is
Thank
something which is brilliant because that is the need of the hour.
absolutely.
When you decided, when we had our initial phase in the month of, June, when we discussed about, you mentioned about, this positivity in this pandemic. I remember that phrase that you used, and yes, you framed all of these sessions very beautifully, right from the different trimesters of motherhood till you came across. I mean, you weave this with the expecting fathers as well, their emotion, their space, and every time you came up with structural changes. Beautiful. Thank you so
And
much.
And I must say, Ekta, you coming in with your insights, it's always wonderful to have, these quick discussions with you through these sessions. So your insights equally valuable, I feel, from your perspective. It brings a different lens to it.
I am enlightened after this because this gives me a different perspective about motherhood. So I'm completely enlightened. I feel each time whenever we have these conversations, I feel I take something from here that connects me to connects me more as a woman.
Wow. That actually makes me feel satisfied.
Thank you, Shalaka. So thank you, Shalaka. Now I'll go back to to our audience. Thank you, audience, for listening to us. So to schedule a session with Shalaka or any other mental strength professional, please visit our website. That is www.mentalstrengthprofessional.com. And let me just go ahead and show that on the screen. And yes, it is very much there. That is www.mentalstrengthprofessional.com. And you can also reach us on our contact number is 8260 And in case if you have any queries or any questions, and if you feel like connecting with us, you can write it to us at info@mentalstrengthprofessional.com. So that's all from our end. Just a quick one for more knowledge series and updates from our team. Please follow us on our Facebook page and our Insta handle, Mental Strength Professional. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do, because you'll get a lot of content there. Our YouTube channel is Dr. Paris. So Shalaka, once again, I know it's really, you have a very busy schedule, but you ensure that you to take out your time, do your research, and lead these sessions for us. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. We at MSP are really, really proud of you. Thank you. Namaste.
Thanks, Ekta. Thanks, audience, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Namaste. Take care.
Bye, Ekta. Namaste.
Bye.